This week's Parsha is Parshas Ki Seitza3. Parshas Ki Seitza3 begins by discussing the Yifas Torah, the woman of great beauty who a man decided to take as his wife during wartime. The Torah permits that. The next subject discussed is the gluttonous son, the Ben Slayer Mer. If a child, and I'm not going to discuss every last detail of the laws, but just a basic idea is that during a very specific time frame, between the age of 13 and 3 months thereafter, if both of this child's parents are of the same height, the same build, and so on, almost identical, then if the child within 3 months starts to eat, drink, and do other unsavory things, he is killed by the court. Now, the commentators and the Talmud itself discuss whether or not this ever actually happened. Was there ever someone who the court decided fulfilled this category, that between the ages of 13 and 3 months afterwards, with parents who are almost identical, started to eat and drink gluttonously and was therefore sentenced to death? Is a discussion in the Talmud, and there's two different opinions. One person says that he did, one person says that it never occurred. But either way, we have a principle in the Talmud that we never see that the Torah gives a punishment in the actual verse unless there is also a prohibition against doing such activity. Meaning, the Torah will never punish a person for killing another person, meaning it says in the Torah that if you kill someone, you'll get the death penalty, without first saying, thou shalt not kill. You need both elements, the negative command and the punishment thereafter. That's one of the principles we have in the Torah. In this case, though, we don't see any explicit negative commandment. In fact, if you think about it, what did this child do? He ate and he drank. There's nothing wrong with eating and drinking. He ate kosher food. He drank kosher wine. The issue was that he started to do it in a gluttonous way. He started eating extremely excessively, extremely rapidly. And he was acting as a whole like a behemoth, like an animal. So why would this child be punished, even in theory? There's no prohibition in the Torah. The answer, in truth, is that the idea of overindulgence in material enjoyments, in food, in physicality itself, overabsorption in the elements that are not eternal, is something that the Torah does not have to tell you is against and is violative of God's will. And that is why this time, specifically, there is a punishment without any lav, without any negative commandment. Because overindulgence is a problem, whether you could afford it, or whether, even if it's kosher, it doesn't make a difference. It's a lifestyle issue. It's something that will eventually lead you to extremely bad things. The great contemporary leader who passed away in the past 30, 40 years, Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, was very strong to educators that they should advocate, they should tell the children they teach that a simple lifestyle, materialism-wise, is extremely important, no matter what is in your bank account. Because, like we're saying, the more indulgent in pleasures, the more you're likely to come to do other things. One other thought from the Chassam Sofer, we're in an exile now where it's hard to see, at least we're at a point in our exile from the land of Israel before our Messiah will redeem us, that it's hard to see what's so hard about the exile. Because we live in relative comfort. Thank God we're not persecuted at this point in history, not that much in this area, let's say, at least. So In what way is this an exile? The Chassam Sofer had an amazing thought on this. He said that we are in the gullus of pleasure, meaning that what threatens the Jewish legacy in this era is that we have so much materialism, and that materialism is more dangerous than the other exiles that we had, the other points in exiles where our lives were threatened. Because indulgence in pleasures will be more effective at destroying the Jewish nation than anything else. Just a quick question on this week's Parsha. We have in this week's Parsha the laws of shikha. Shikha is when a person is collecting produce from his fields and he forgets something in the fields. If he forgets something in the fields, he's supposed to leave it for the poor. He may not go back and collect that which he has forgotten. Briefly, the Sifri brings down, the Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah says that from here we see that if a person takes a bundle of cash, throws it out of his window, and it drops on the ground, and he has no intention that that should be given to a poor person, and a poor person picks it up, that man who threw that wad of cash out the window has the same merit as the person who tenderly gives it to the poor man at his door with a smile. The question is, why should we equate these two acts? The man who throws the wad of cash out of his window has no intention of doing good, while the man who hands the cash to the beggar at his door obviously has the intention to be compassionate and give to a man who is needy. Have a great Shabbos.